Subspace ambassadors and community members, if you manage to sneak in here. We are doing our June 15th, 2023 Ambassador All Hands. So once again, we're going to talk about Crowdcast. Frederic, right now, if you don't mind, and Discord, if you could just post one last reminder in the Ambassador Announcements channel that we're starting. Let's let people trickle in. Sure. And while we're doing that, we'll talk about just housekeeping. If you're ever pulled up on stage or anything like that, just keep your mic muted until you're talking. And then if you look to the right on Crowdcast, on the far right over there, there is a chat where you can talk, ask questions, say anything you want. There's a Q&A section. So if you click on the Q&A section, there'll be anywhere that you can post just a question. It can be upvoted. So if an important question, everyone feels like they want to hear about it, you can just upvote it. At the end of the Ambassador All Hands, we will circle back around and we'll look at all the Q&As and we'll address them as best we can. So right below that, after the question mark with a bubble, there's a poll. So sometimes we'll do polls, just how's your experience with Crowdcast? And if you don't mind just participating in that, seeing if you like it or we should use another platform, we'll do that. And then last but not least, right below that is you can see all the people that are here. And just for housekeeping, in case you ever have to host one of these one day, this is where you can change people's roles, invite them on stage, hide the audience, open the stage for everybody to come in. Right now, what we have is a feature that we're allowing attendees to raise their hand. So we will have time for that at the end with the Q&A if maybe you want to talk about something. But we just ask for now that if you have a question, you have a thoughts, maybe just write it down, remember it, and then you can raise your hand towards the end, and we'll see if we have enough time. We can go ahead and get you up on stage. So right now, we should be keeping it under an hour. And with that being said, I'm just going to give you a minute here or two, and then we're going to get started. Okay.
Mike, would you mind sharing the slide with the talking point?
It's the slide that you sent me?
Yeah, it's the second one after.
Yeah, absolutely. So as people begin to trickle in.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, go ahead. You're good. As people begin to trickle in, our first presenter is going to be Frederic. Frederic is going to be bouncing back and forth between himself, Big Jim Counterpoint, and Emil. They all have a little bit to say. Frederic actually has quite a bit of exciting things to talk about. I've been talking with him on the side, talking about how to make the ambassador program better. Other ambassadors have contributed, and very exciting things. Frederic's super dedicated. Genuinely felt like he was really invested about making this better, and I can tell by the presentation that he sent me and what he's about to tell you. So, without further ado, Frederic, welcome to the stage, and if you'd like to go ahead and make your presentation, go for it.
Thank you, Mike, for your kind introduction, and welcome everyone. I appreciate all you for taking the time to join and participate. Yeah, like Mike said, I feel really thrilling about this session indeed. Really couldn't wait to share a few epic announcements. I'm psyched to witness two experienced ambassadors becoming full-time team members. And honestly, I would love to continue to see this trend continue as the Subspace Ambassador program expands with a new cohort joining in. That is, more apprentices joining the program, more ambassadors becoming leads, and more seasoned ambassadors and leads becoming full-time staff. So, Em and Jill, I'll pass the mic to you so that you can let us and tell us all about it yourselves.
Of course. Jim, would you like to go first?
I can go first, guys. So, yeah, so I'm Jim. Many of you will know me from Discord and the Ambassador Program, hopefully. And I'm going to be joining Subspace, the team, full-time on Monday. And I'm just going to run through my journey on how I ended up where I am. Because a year ago, if you'd have asked me that I'd be on this call explaining that I've joined Subspace, I probably wouldn't have believed you. So I'm an enterprise developer for the last 20 years. Worked in finance and telecoms, mainly on the Microsoft stack. Started getting into blockchain and Web3 when a friend of mine asked me to run DevOps for a team operating a testnet indexer on the graph. 2020 that was now. That project gave me an itch for infrastructure as code, and I found a number of blockchain projects which could scratch that itch. And after a while, another friend in my group referred me to Subspace. He thought it'd be something that I would enjoy. I joined in the middle of the Aries testnet. I got my farm running, which was super exciting, and participated in the stress test back then. Started to get more into the project and really understand the problems it was solving, and decided it was something that I could really get behind. I love the eco-friendly consensus and the opportunity to harness underutilized hardware around the world. I hit the Gemini testnet hard. The Gemini saw a much more complete farming experience. So I use that as an opportunity to sharpen my DevOps skills by working out ways to game the system and maximize the return on the hardware I had available to me. At this stage, I was pestering Justin quite regularly about the limits we could take the software to. I also really enjoyed providing peer-to-peer support in Discord and on the forum to help get newbies and their nodes up and running. Eventually, I decided to apply for the ambassadorship when the next cohort was announced. I was accepted, fortunately, and have made some great friendships within the program and the community at large. When Subspace started building out their team in preparation for mainnet, Diana approached me and asked if I would like to try out for a role with the team. I applied for a DevOps position, but as it wasn't really my core competency, I'm really a programmer, is where I come from. They had much better candidates applying than me, so I was passed over, but I was also told at that point there could be a community role for me. I tried out for that role, and here we are today. I've had a long transition process between jobs, during which I've been performing some duties part-time at Subspace. My joining the team is not a very well-kept secret, but I am ecstatic to announce that I'm joining the team full-time from Monday next week. I'm the head of ecosystem, which means I'm ultimately responsible for looking after 3 pillars of our community: node operators, token holders, and developers, and of course ambassadors under the great stewardship of Fredik. I'm super happy to be here, and I hope my story is an inspiration to everyone in the community who may be considering a career in blockchain or Web3. And yeah, that's me. Happy to answer any questions in the chat, but obviously we've got Emil. Can I follow me there, Emil?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm really happy about joining the Subspace team too, and I'll be working alongside Jim and Fredik, and I'm really excited about it. Yeah, you probably know a lot about me because I've been active with the Subspace community for almost 2 years now. But just maybe to go over my background once again. Originally, I started my career as a petroleum engineer, and then I transitioned into software development. I've been working on different projects and alongside different technologies. But at the same time, my hobby was researching different blockchain projects. And the first really big project that I've learned about was Chia. And I've been farmer with the Chia and the Node Runner, but my experience has been not the best, to put it nicely. And at that time, I learned about the Subspace. I read through the white paper. I was really thrilled by what the Subspace could offer in terms of the farmer's experience. So I joined the Subspace Telegram and Discord at the time, and I was just basically started asking questions about the technology and about like what's when the first code, when the first farmers and nodes will be available to the community. And at that time, the ambassador program really started taking shape, and I was really happy to join Subspace ambassadors among the first 5 people. Yeah, that was the time I got to know Mike, Kingsley, Salih, so all the guys that you probably know. Really became friends with them and started exploring Subspace even further. And yeah, here I am now, like a year and 8 months later, joining team on full time. Really happy about it. And my role in Subspace will be working on the developer experience. So as you guys know, like, we are actively working on our core EVM, so smart contracts and decouple executions are coming to the test nets. So what I'll be working on is providing developers and empowering developers with the documentation on how to run the smart contracts and how to really use Subspace to the full extent. Yeah, that's where I am at the moment. So I'm handing it over back to Alpha and Pradeep. Thank you.
First off, congratulations to Jim and Emil. The best way I can describe this is, you know, when you walk in a room and somebody's in charge and you just instantly feel like everything's going to be okay. That's Jim and Emil for sure. Jim is one of my favorite ambassadors. He's especially one of my favorite new ambassadors. Incredibly helpful from the support side, from my perspective. Obviously, I've said it before, I'm not super technical. So him answering a barrage of questions so quickly and efficiently while I was still looking things up and trying to help in other ways was incredibly helpful. And I'm very happy for you, Jim. And Emil, I feel like we are friends. You know, we've like almost like brothers now. We've been together for almost 2 years, and same thing. Can't imagine anybody more that deserved it. So congratulations to both of you guys. And with that, I'll turn it back over to Frederic.
Thank you, Mike. Yeah, such a immersive vibe and positive vibe. I also feel it as well, and I'm so appreciative of it. By the way, those willing to replace Emil as lead, please reach out. We encourage you to send a one-pager with your proposal on how to provide guidance to the content and onboarding group, like we did last time for the engagement group. We're more than happy to organize an election for a new lead, for a new content lead. Please do so. Now, before we jump into the other 3 topics, there is another one which actually overlaps with the second one about the DAOs. We acknowledge the community have actively participated months ago in an effort to form a DAO, but we didn't apply any of the steps. Admittedly, it appears possibly it was derailed either by a new release launch or other pressing issues emerging. The idea, unfortunately, lost momentum and fizzled out. And obviously, this may create some frustration especially from those who put a great amount of effort in creating the DAO. So believe me, now more than ever, as the ambassador program expands with a new incoming cohort and incentivized 3E and mainnet fast approaching, we firmly believe the formation of the DAO, ambassador DAOs, feels more urgent than ever. As the reason of the endorsement of a new lead ambassador mentoring a DAO group, that's where it comes into play. We think we badly need someone in that role, and many of us observed Jonathan as with the passion for it. He marshals design by committee extremely well, and we feel super pleased he has accepted. Unfortunately, he couldn't join us today. I think Thursday is a busy day for him. But please join me in extending our congratulations to Jonathan on the channel. And we really appreciate everyone's help in giving Jonathan all the support for him to lead the charge and set things up and push his agenda forward, which is, a very complex and challenging one. With that said, shout out to Jonathan. We can't wait to hear from him and his first few guidelines. Now, I'll try to go over the other topics which are robust, dense, but equally important and pressing for the entire community, especially the token allocation one. We received a lot of feedback from a number of ambassadors requiring more clarity. Token allocation marks a pressing issue surrounding our entire incentive model, of course, to collaborate as ambassadors. It sits, needless to say, it sits along other equally important factors like ideological alignment and belief in our cause. But we more than agree that it's about time to bring more clarity and detail on the token allocation issue. To that end, massive thanks again to the ambassadors who took the initiative and the time to share your concerns with us. The window is still open. If you have more questions than the ones I'm going to cover here, please feel free to email me or send me or DM me or post it in any channel as you feel more appropriate. First off, and before I go one by one, actually the intention is to form an actual organized detailed FAQ that we will soon publish and for everyone. But no, we thought it was a good idea to cover at least some of the most important pain points first, and look forward to actually formatting and publish eventually. Now, one of the most pressing issues revolved around the Know Your Customer domain. For example, what information are ambassadors required to provide for a token grant? And those who have read the news, they can confirm how volatile the regulatory framework looks like with Binance and Coinbase and all that. The Subspace benefit page, you find a specific paragraph on this, but the overarching message to you all is the data we will collect is going to be the minimum required to remain compliant. And that's a function, of course, of the regulatory frameworks around the crypto domain at the time of when mainland launches. But we are committed to collect as minimum as possible, and comply with our privacy commitments to not to publish anyone's information in public. Which leads to the other questions that will personal information such as name, address be accessible to the public or any of this data. We are going to store Subspace management will store it. We're discussing refining, consolidating on a repository, sorting out what everyone is owed, and the best process to collect and store. We are definitely marching towards it. But rest assured, to be repetitive, that that data will never go public. It will be used by Subspace team only, and will be processed in line with our privacy policy. Like I said, we do not publish anyone's name or token allocation, but we are working on doing something where you can, for example, submit your wallet, and anyone can look up which such wallet and how much it's owed and its score, etc., etc. This is, by the way, opening a parenthesis, is part of the larger Ambassador OS platform we are thinking of, where ambassadors ideally in the future can submit their wallet and view all their profile, so to speak, like peer review score, token allocation, etc. Now, there were some questions also on the vesting domain. For instance, at what point in time are token allocations finalized for regular ambassadors? Will there be a written contract for signature or on-chain representation? Now, the vesting period, some of these are explained in the Coda page, but to supplement, the vesting period starts officially when when anyone here received the membership. The period spent as an apprentice that is at the trial doesn't count. And as such, of course, the token allocations finalized for regular ambassadors cohort will be the exact date they have received the membership. And to the second question, and what will there be a written contract or for signature or on-chain representation? Yes, for now we believe a contract for digital signature is very likely and will suffice. But we are examining as to be defined if the on-chain representation will make sense. Now, on the allocation domain itself, an interesting question is: will tokens allocations be increased in case the original lead regular ambassadors exit the program, does the team commit to distributing the entire 1% of total allocation directly and exclusively to leads and ambassadors, or to the community members in general? The answer to the first one is no. When a regional lead or regular ambassador exits the programs, we act immediately to replace him in order to avoid increased workload, like we did when Kamzi left, and like we'll do now when Emil leaves. Now we're going to replace it with another lead in order not to overload anyone. And the answer to the second is yes, 1% fully and totally, directly and exclusively directed to lead and regular ambassadors. When the snapshot is done, that's your source of truth. More specifically about, I can go on more specifically about vesting. There were questions as to how are the milestones calculated, quarterly or monthly. We calculated quarterly, but of course, if anyone leaves like 2 months after the quarter ends, we proportionally add in that additional months if the ambassador exits before the end of the quarter. The token allocations will be increased in case the regional lead ambassador exit to the program. Yes, of course, as long as he continues to work as an ambassador. If he leaves the lead position and continues to work as an ambassador, he will be receiving the vested for regular ambassador. And when the lead ambassador trial begins, the lead token grants immediately begin vesting on the 4-year schedule? No, the token grant begins vesting after the 2-month trial period as lead. For example, now Jonathan will start as lead. There will be a 2 trial during 2 months. During these 2 months, he will still garner his ambassador vesting, and after the 2 months, he was actually start gathering the percentages associated to lead. I hope that explains. And why is vesting only initiated? This is an interesting. Why is vesting only initiated after the trial period has completed? Like I just said, well, we believe that for the ambassador position, we require a non-incentivized 2 months evaluation span to avoid opportunistic drives for obtaining a quick buck, like with effortless rewards. We believe that the absence of this trial phase may create nefarious, so to speak, incentive for reckless participation. Now, finally on the lockup, the question is, for ambassadors that have exceeded their vesting cliff, will they receive all of their vested tokens? And will all these vested tokens be transferable after when we go meta, when you go mainnet beta? The answer is yes. All of the vested tokens will be vested to the lead ambassadors and the ambassadors. No portions to anyone else, the community, the wider community, anyone else. Once the mainnet beta has successfully passed, the question is, how often will newly vested tokens be unlocked for ambassadors to transfer? That is, the question here is looking at the scenario post mainnet, right? Will there be any lockup period for ambassadors who join after mainnet beta uptimer period, or if they join during mainnet? This is an interesting question. It could be quarterly, it could be semi-annual or annually. To be honest, it's still being defined by our is TBD, still being examined and defined by our financial team. As you can see, this topic is voluminous, is robust, is dense. We're working, like I said before, on a very structured and clean FAQ that we hope to publish. And is there anything that I haven't mentioned here or anything that pops in your mind? The doors are open. Please fill me in so that I can make this FAQ even more robust and more wide-ranging. With that said, I will, in order to keep on time, so to make sure that I have plenty of time for Q&As and have time to, I don't want to boycott Emil's presentation in terms of timing. I'll really go over the last and equally important topic of the role of AI in Subspace. I think maybe there's some clarity is required. We have been talking about it. We ran an AI hackathon We likely conversed with Jeremy on a community call. So, but I believe, I think what is missing, I think it would be appreciated if we can share more of the drive, the philosophy behind it, and what really drove Subspace to focus on it in terms of strategy, philosophy, and ideology. For I think like the position we are now is that we team up the problem we could solve. Like AI, let's talk about the obvious first. I mean, AI has exploded onto the scene. Clearly, AI has a huge impact on the world. Things are changing very quickly. This is just the beginning. And what we are seeing today is like everyone is racing towards what they call AGI, which is artificial general intelligence. What does that mean? Basically, it means any type of intelligence that is able to perform at or above human capabilities, like learning, reasoning, and planning. Well, some argue that AI has already reached that point. Now, the problem is the industry has not really solved the alignment problem. What is the alignment problem? How to align the AGI to the benefit of humanity, not just knowing how to answer questions on ChatGPT, but making sure AGI doesn't do things that are offensive or racist, and really keeps the best interest of the humanity at heart, not trying to deceive us or even turn against us. Now, problem is the more intelligent the AI system becomes, the harder it becomes to actually know it is aligned to humanity's best interest, which is, could be turned into an ugly picture comprising the erosion of trust as it becomes easier to make fakes, the economic impact everyone's talking about, massive unemployment, especially if AI continues its trend towards centralization. We've heard news already of some companies laying off, etc. Now, we don't actually have a solution to this, but we are trying to shift the narrative and shift the focus in order to address some of these problems. What the industry has done in parallel is some I guess some initiatives that they have not proven successful. There was a 6 months moratorium that everybody ignored. Regulators have found it really hard to come to grasp with it. Some others have talked about basic universal income in case everyone gets laid off. And others are just trusting the big companies, which is kind of dangerous because it probably lead to more centralization, more power to monopolies, and likely create, wealth disparity. They are conducting research in AI in secret. Some of them are not publishing it, not sharing results. And this is what we're seeing, that more and more among the researchers industry-wide. Now, with this background, with this scenario, what Subspace proposes is to start over and, like I said, start thinking and shifting the focus in a more like human-centric way. Like our founder just tweeted, he just tweeted, agentic AIs, not humans, will dominate the future of Web3. Agents that utilize APIs, not wallets or explorers, to interact with blockchains for payments, identity, and most importantly, DAOs. The first billion blockchain users, likely AI agents acting on behalf of humans. So what does he, what is involved in this message? First one, it must be for the individuals to be able to do that. It must be open source regulation. If regulation could help, maybe it could do so by ensuring research is open source and making sure everything gets shared through the open source community. That is, we believe, the best hope if you're going to attempt to solve the alignment problem that I described before. It is time to bring others into this discussion. The other very important concept is begin with individual, like Jeremiah alluded in his tweet. Perhaps via agentic AI acting on behalf of humans, or humans themselves modeling their AI agents. So instead of examining how AI replaces people, maybe our focus on AI should be in a way that combines the best parts of the person and the machine, which is the notions of synthesis. But above all, I mean, I guess the overarching philosophy is that AI should be collective and universal. I mean, this is so fundamental. I mean, collectively developed through open source community, like I said, open source research and engineering, And access to AI should be really like, a universal human right. This is what really will allow us to explore new modes. For anyone here to bring up new ideas, like we've seen in the AI hackathon, for example, rather than centrally controlling AI to any corporation and government. And speaking more selfishly, it is down the road. There are so many networks available who want to run storage or execution, but bottom line, it will be the use cases that our blockchain offers that will bring more value to the token down the line. I know this is a lot. I've spoken too much. This is a lot. Hard to digest. But this is our drive. This is the philosophy we're running to. You may have noticed that I didn't speak about a product. Okay, for DK, that good rhetorical introduction. What product? We're still aligning the narrative of the product with marketing, and I promise you that will come up soon. And as soon as it does, the ambassadors will be the first one to know. But I just wanted to make sure that what was the generator, what is your passion, and what is our strategic focus towards that, to explain why are we investing so much effort on it. Well, so like I said, that's a lot. I apologize for this long presentation, and I'm looking forward to your questions down the line. Pass it over the mic to Emil.
That was great, Frederic. Thank you very much. Emil, did you have a presentation you want me to set up, or would you like me to just leave the screen up right here?
Yeah, I'm just loading up a presentation. Just give me 20 seconds.
Okay, let me drop this off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like I cannot present at the same time. Oh yeah, that might work now.
So it should be available now. That was incredible stuff, Frederic. Thank you very much. So I'm excited to move forward with Subspace with some cool things in the future.
Yeah, 100% Frederic. All right, yeah. I'll be taking just a few minutes to share some of the updates on the new cohort selection. As for some stats, like this time we received 262 applications to become Subspace ambassadors. The questionnaire that candidates were filling was changed. So now we no longer actually ask for the ambassador's geography, so I couldn't really share anything interesting in terms of like geography statistics. But I really want to say huge thank you to every ambassador who helped filtering out the applications. It was really great to see that a lot of ambassadors are taking initiative, and they really helped us a lot with the selection. So I tried to include everyone on the list on the slide here. Hope I didn't forget anyone, but yeah, huge thank you to all of you guys. This time around, we used a new platform for conducting the interviews called Jitsi. So I really would like to hear some of the feedback from the ambassadors who used this application for conducting interviews. In the previous times, we used Google Meets and Zoom, and it was a bit difficult in terms of the schedules, and of course, like sometimes hosts need to be included on the meeting, and like Jitsi solves this problem for us. But anyway, I would just like to gather some of the feedback to see if we should continue using the system or we should try something different next time. Maybe we can create like a poll. Maybe if Frederic or Alfie, you can help me with that, please. Yeah, and
I'm excited to do that.
Yeah, thank you. And I believe we now finished with all of the interviews, so we will just summon up the feedback, go over it, and hopefully by the next week. And Frederic, let me know if that time frame sounds realistic. Hopefully by the end of next week, we'll be sharing some exciting news on the selection process, and we will be welcoming new cohort of the apprentice ambassadors to Subspace.
Sure thing. Right on.
Awesome. Yeah, that's all I wanted to share with you guys today. So hand it over to you, Mike.
Great. Thank you. I'm just getting that poll created right now. So for me, I don't have too much. A lot of the points that I was going to talk about, Frederic and Emil kind of mentioned. We do have one more presentation. Ivan wanted to present today. He was having issues with his Crowdcast. I do, however, have a video that he provided for us. So I'm going to load up that video right now. And if somebody doesn't mind just confirming that the audio is.
Hello everyone, today I want to present an update for our community members. Our main problem is that we are not giving any opportunity for our community members to show themselves or provide any work that would eventually reward them. Currently we have slightly over 21,000 members on Discord, and you can imagine if even half of those members were involved in actively spreading information about Subspace. We would gain a large number of new followers, and as a result, new farmers. We are actually losing out a lot, so it's time to make changes. And so I present to you our space missions. Space missions will be simple quests for our participants, where they will use our Twitter and Discord. The main goal is to incentivize our participants to work and attract new users who are not yet familiar with Subspace. For example, users need to describe the assigned task in their own words using our hashtags and tag 3 or more friends. I believe it would be appropriate for users to use their native language, as it would help us engage users from different regions. What does this give us? By engaging our users in Discord activities, we foster a sense of community and participation among them. It helps in building a dedicated user base and encourages active involvement. Developing our Twitter allows us to reach a broader audience and increase our brand visibility. It provides a platform for sharing updates, announcements, and engaging with our users and potential new followers. Creating a platform for user-generated content and interaction through hashtags and tagging friends on social media creates opportunity for attracting new users. It can lead to organic growth as existing users share their experience and invite others to join, expanding our user base. One moment. So the team and I have already discussed proposals for space missions, and we come to the conclusion that we will start with the simple ones. So our first space mission will be quiz. Participants who successfully pass the quiz will receive something unique and very interesting gift. Also, our space missions can be used for important announcements that need to reach a wide range of people. For example, let's take the announcement from Gemini 2. As you see, if you use space missions with announcements, it will be very easy for us to spread information using Twitter and Discord, which will attract new users to join our project. So it's very simple, but you just imagine if 50% of our Discord users will complete this task, we will attract a lot of new users. And I think in the future we will add an goal system for our participants with future rewards for them, which will depend on the leaderboard. So thank you for your attention. I'm waiting for your feedback. Thank you, goodbye.
Okay. Not No, Ivan's probably not here. That synthesizes some of the interesting initiatives he has arranged, and they look promising to me. Look forward to see them taking place.
Yeah, that was great. Like I said, Ivan was having issues joining with the Crowdcast platform. So please, if you have any feedback for him or you just want to thank him for presenting, just send him a message offline. I'm sure he would really appreciate it. Okay, let's wrap up here. We're getting close. That's our time. So right now we don't currently have any questions that I saw. I'm going to double check right now. We don't still. So I'm going to just talk briefly about basically my thoughts and processes of how we kind of got here and what I talked to Frederic about a little bit. And just to show you how quickly he addressed a lot of the things that I was talking about and that I had concerns about that other ambassadors had brought up to me. Nothing too crazy, just things about, hey, I want to make Subspace better, and this is how I feel it can go. So we talked about promoting leads, and this was about a week ago. We talked a little bit over at this point. And so with that, he pretty much instantly identified some leads that the community, I feel like, would agree were fantastic leads to promote right away. And there was a need for it. I've been asking for this for a while because our lead ambassadors were whittling down, and the workload was increasing a bit. So I wasn't quite being able to give as much attention as I normally would to certain aspects. So he identified some, got some in immediately, and obviously he's invited everyone to apply to be a lead ambassador right now, given a one-pager sent to him, or you can send it to me and I can forward it as well. So I appreciate him addressing that super fast. We were talking about the peer review aspect. I feel like the peer review ambassador OS is going quite well, in my opinion. I feel like it's helping to identify people that are very active in the community, and especially more now than ever that we're growing and we're promoting leads. I think it's super important that we have a system that allows us to verify what the community is saying, that is lining up, and we have documentation of that. We talked about clarifying the DAO, what happened with that, how we're moving forward, what should we do, what shouldn't we be doing. And again, he immediately got J.R. Washburn on that. One of the people, if you remember when we had the discussions, was incredibly active, did a great job leading the discussion. And so now he's going to be working on that. And so that's fantastic. And then we talked about ambassadors having a clear path to promotion, and he's working on that as well. So on the ambassador side of the things that I requested we can try to work on, Frederic pretty much implemented them all within less than about 2 weeks to a week. So I really appreciate that. Same thing I asked him about things regarding from the ambassador to the team, just improving communication, discussing the DAO and how it's related, and then educational materials, just clarity about where Subspace is going as an organization and as a project. And as you can see, first presentation of the day was Frederic kind of clearing up some of those talking points like AI and how it's going to relate to Subspace, promoting leads, where Subspace is going, as you heard Emil talking about developing the smart contract side, stuff like that. I'm incredibly pleased with how our discussion went. I felt like it was incredibly productive. So that being said, if you have any concerns, if you have any thoughts, if you want to just say, hey, I think this would be a good idea, please reach out to me. I encourage you to reach out to a lead first, just because Frederic, he has to deal with everybody, including he has to report to the team. So if it's something one of us can help with, please let us help first, just to take the workload off of him. That way, when we do bring things to him that are important, he has the ability, the time, and the bandwidth to do them quickly. So that's all I have for today. Once again, I really appreciate Frederic. Huge compliments to Emil and Jim for being promoted to the team. I feel like most of us that are ambassadors, that's the dream, you know, to be paid full time to work in something that you love, and that you have a belief in. So congratulations to you guys. And then with that being said, we still currently do not have any questions. So open mic right now. If everyone wants to come up on stage, or Jim, Emil, Frederic, if you'd like to have a discussion about anything, that'd be great. And we don't have anything on the polls for GT right now. So if there's nothing else, no other discussions after that, then we'll be wrapping up.
Not very nice.
I can just talk on a couple of points. Apologies if Frederic didn't cover this. This audio cut out for me earlier, but on the token allocations, the finer points are part of a bigger question around the tokenomics of the project, and there will be documentation released just to firm up what Frederic discussed earlier. Some of it is still being worked on with compliance, and yeah, just watch this space, and there'll be something concrete released to the community. We'll release what we have, but there will be some more to come afterwards. And there are some updates. Frederic, did you want to round out with we've got kind of 3 sort of exciting items we talked about dropping to the ambassadors? I don't mind doing it.
No, please go ahead, Jim.
Okay, I didn't want to steal your thunder. So the exciting things that we can announce at this stage is that the incentivized testnet is coming towards the end of July. The mainnet is coming sooner than expected. And while we can't share any specific dates yet, when Gemini 3 incentivized launches, we'll be sharing the full timeline to mainnet and beyond. So, you know, there's a full head of steam in the engine at the moment. We are kind of on the starting blocks. The next kind of 6 weeks, month and a half, are going to be super excited for the project. So yeah, watch this space, guys. It's really exciting to have you all along with us. And yeah, I just wanted to drop those updates, Mike. You can round out now.
That is super cool. So from a support perspective specifically, excuse me, tongue twister. All ambassadors, like I appreciate, even if you're not on the support team, when we do start those incentivized testnets, please talk to each other. Please troubleshoot, help with each other. And if you find a solution, just check in those community chats. Really, check the forums. Even if you can check once a day, once every other day. When we have every ambassador doing that, questions get answered super fast, especially if you run into something that you've identified as a problem and you found the solution. Maybe somebody else didn't, so it's going to be easier to answer that. Typically, every time we've run an incentivized testnet, our community, and I'll have the statistics next time we do this, our community has a significant growth. The first time we did it, it went from like we were, in the hundreds of Discord users to the thousands. And then it went from, the thousands to the tens of thousands. So I would anticipate every single time that we do this and every single time we keep getting closer to the mainnet, especially the more people that are in Discord and actively talking, that's just more that people that they can reach. So every time we do these, expect more and more people. So it would be super helpful if everyone's just around and present. And support is really one of the main pillars of being an ambassador, even if you're not full-time dedicated in the support team. So I'd appreciate that. And besides that, thank you, Frederic, for your time. Thank you for the clarity and working so hard. Jim, congratulations. Emil, congratulations. Thank you guys both for the updates. Super excited to hear that the mainnet is coming out sooner than anticipated. Obviously, for people that want to know a specific date, Subspace is typically always operated by under-promising and over-delivering. So you're probably not going to get an actual date, but the tease is cool. It truly is. So they're going to get the product out when it's working and it's to their standards. And I think that's the best thing that you can ask for in this crypto space. You don't want to put out broken products or incomplete things. So thank you everyone for your time. I really appreciate it. We didn't have any more questions. We don't have any more polls. So I will have a summary of the call, a written summary in Discord and on the forums within about 30 minutes. And the YouTube video will be up sometime today after we can format it and upload it. So thank you for your time, everyone. And I hope you have a great day.
Thank you, everyone, and see you around.
Thank you, Mike, so much for organizing. Thank you, everyone, for turning up, for showing up.